please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
With the Indian tyre industry at the cusp of significant growth, the Automotive Tyre Manufacturers Association, or ATMA, organized its first annual convention in New Delhi recently with the aim of bringing together automotive and tyre industry leaders, policymakers, government officials and thought leaders on a single platform. The agenda at the convention was set by the inaugural address of the chairman of ATMA, Satish Sharma.
A very, very warm welcome on behalf of ATMA towards our pioneering effort of holding our first conclave, and I'm greatly thankful for the Minister for making time out. I think it's been a breakthrough year of sorts for the tyre industry, simply because we got awesome support from the government on many, many aspects. We believe is a great industry. It's been servicing the country pretty well. Evidence of that is that today, with respect to OEMs, I think 99.9% of the OE requirements are serviced by the Indian tyre industry. So no imports is sought by the OEMs. That by itself is a huge thing. The R&D expenditure of the tyre industry has been going up. Brand India has been growing. And therefore, we believe that the industry can merge itself with the rest of the world.
The chief guest, Minister of Commerce and Industry, Suresh Prabhu, then delivered a keynote themed Tyre Industry, taking India to the world, that highlighted the aspirations and growth potential of the industry.
It's an honor for me to be speaking to all the people who are literally moving the wheels of economy. You are the ones who make the mobility possible. As we have seen historically, globally, the agrarian economy was the basis on which the industrialized economy developed. Even today, the industrialization owes its origin to some extent or the other, if not in all industries, in many industries, to agrarian sector. If you take textiles, the cotton growing, if it doesn't happen, there is nothing like a natural fiber that can be made. So therefore, there is a correlationship, and also has to be a relationship which is based on win-win situation. Today, there is a challenge that rubber producing states are saying that their yield has, the price yield, not the production yield, has gone down substantially over a period of time, and they lost a lot of money. And the farmers, particularly the planters, are in big trouble. What we like to do is, one is a short-term solution, which is immediate issue. There has to be a medium-term plan. How to improve productivity, how to make it sure, how to make better production yield from rubber, etc. These are the issues which need to tackle. But as we do that, we cannot ignore the short-term issues that are on hand. And when we live in a democracy, you will understand that large number of people, if they are rightly or wrongly for whatever reason, they have a grievance, it needs to be addressed. And therefore, we have to work on a policy framework which will ensure that rubber growers also get their due, at the same time ensuring that their customers, the tyre industry, also do not have an adverse impact on their buyer. So we have to work on that. So I think we have to try to balance it that way. And therefore, the trade-off in the public policy has to be in favor of such a manner that we can create as close as possible to a win-win situation for both. That's what we are trying to work on. I hope you will join me in this endeavor. But let me tell you that we are very happy to see a growth of industry in this. And I was saying that those who founded this association, they had a lot of foresight as well as insight. They had a foresight because they understood if they don't work together, they will not be able to grow the market together. But insight, which is very important, is that you knew, and that's how you gave a right name, that it's called ATMA. So ATMA drives the body. So cars can be driven only by the soul. That's the soul of the entire automobile industry is tire. That's why I call it ATMA. So that's why I'm saying the inside. You know exactly what it really meant. And that's why you have got both the foresight and the insight. I wish to congratulate you. Thank you very much.
The minister's speech was followed by an industry outlook presented in the form of an insightful speech by Omkar Kanwar, the chairman and CEO of Apollo Tyres, who reflected as to how the tyre industry could catalyze the growth of the manufacturing sector.
Well, I'd like to join my colleague Satish in welcoming my dear friend Suresh Prabhu. There's a growth in this industry. Unfortunately, the rubber growth is keeping up with the demand which is there. So while we like to see the farmers are looked after, and our soul also says that we are with the small scale farmers, we'll make sure whatever local rubber is produced, we make sure that all the rubber is purchased. There is international prices. We will assure that they are given the same international prices. But there is a certain amount of shortage because the industry has grown. Today, industry is almost invested 40,000 crores in the last 5 years. And there's another 30,000 crores which is going to be invested in the coming years. So we have to spend a lot of money in research and development, sir, and building brands. Today, this is the only industry where you have all the big boys who are operating here, whether it's Michelin of the world, Continental, name Goodyear, Yokohama, name any company, they're all there. So the question is, rubber demand has grown. Our production hasn't grown. So we have nothing against the small grower. We are with you to support. But my request is, as Prabhu, kindly see how you can help us to make sure the shortfall is met. With these words, once again, I'd like to thank you for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, sir.
One of the highlights at the convention was the release of a research paper on the tyre industry's competitiveness and its export achievements by the Minister of Commerce and Industry, Suresh Prabhu.
ATMA convention is really twofold. One is to further strengthen our partnership with the government, and second is to further strengthen our ties with the OEMs. And I hope that the convention meets these requirements. I think really all the tyre companies are investing a lot towards the Make in India, providing jobs. We're having some shortages on the raw material side. So it's really to share with the government a little bit of what is happening, as well as seek their feedback on how we can further improve and provide more employment and help with the Make in India initiative as well.
This is the first event I've seen anywhere in the world which looks at the management, talks to the high management, says, we need to change.
The ATMA Convention 2018 saw participation from leading Indian tyre manufacturing companies. A power-packed panel comprising the big three, Apollo Tyres, JK Tyer and MRF, deliberated on the evolutionary journey of the Indian tyre industry and its current challenges.
Do you feel somewhere that, from a perception standpoint, the tyre makers or the tyre industry does not sort of command the mind space that perhaps some of the other industries in India would do? Do you feel that is a bit of a sort of a concern that you have today?
Tyre industry is a very important industry in the country, but somehow the perception has been a little easy, as if the industry is not done enough and has been under criticism more often than not. But definitely, going forward, the perception is improving, or the gap is narrowing down. So in fact, the perception gap has been there, but I think is more that is a lesson for us that we need to talk much, much more of what we are doing.
Neeraj, perhaps if I could come to you, you are a part of the ancillary industry. You have a distinct identity of your own. So purely from an identity standpoint, is that also a bit of a challenge?
No, I don't think tyre industry in India has an identity issue. Please understand that the tyre industry in India today is governed by the Indian tyre makers. 80 to 85% of the tyres produced here are by Indian tyre makers. And let's understand that the tyres that we are making, only we know how to make them for these Indian roads, for the Indian customer. The MNCs in the tyre industry have also started recognizing the Indian tyre makers. That yes, we are coming out with good products, we are coming out with highly superior products that can work in Europe, can work in America. So they are in turn also recognizing us. And that, I must say, is a proud moment for ATMA, because that is where we come out to show our strength in the world of tires.
Mr. Maman, you know, the government now is, of course, talking a lot about giving a boost to private investments. And, well, you know, the tire makers, you've been investing even during the downturn, okay? And steadily we've seen the tire makers, each company, every year your capex is going up. Have you been able to communicate that? Has government taken cognizance of the sort of investments that you're making, both in greenfield as well as in brownfield projects?
Yes, MRF is, or generally the tire industry is, the capex is in tune with the GDP growth, and we are always ahead of the curve. And normally the capex is done for justification of the fulfillment of the capex. It takes about 3 years to turn out. So because of that, we in fact, investments will also be done during the downturn also. And eventually when the market picks up during the upturn, we'll be in place in market to cater to the market needs. But regarding government, yes, government is aware of what we are doing, and there is a lot of investments which is done, like what Mr. Sangani and Mr. Kanwar has said. And I'm sure the government is aware of the contribution and the capex which is done.
The aim of the ATMA Convention 2018 was to set the future agenda of the Indian tire industry, taking into consideration the current reality and market expectations. An eminent panel spoke on the need to redefine the tire industry in India with OEM partnerships that help meet India's mobility challenges.
How we can, you know, as an industry, work towards this aspiration of 4x growth.
Knowing the competitive intensity in the country, as well as you know, the need to be competitive globally, Indian industry has been investing for last many years very substantially on R&D, and not only in research per se, but I would say also in terms of huge amount of automation, huge amount of you know, enhancement of quality systems, standards, manufacturing processes and things like that to be globally competitive.
I have, from my experience with the OEMs, in my opinion for the tire business, that the OEMs are looking for two things. Number one is quality, and number two is digitalization. You can see that that amount of intelligence is really valuable to the OEM. So those are the two things, quality, I believe, and digitalization.
Two parts to this. One is your growth and the other is the relationship with OEMs. As far as the growth is concerned, there is a large amount of the growth which comes from the aftermarket in India. And to a large extent that would be driven by the changing business model that is emerging and products. Yes, the OEMs' product life cycles have got shorter. I think we would see going forward that would still get shorter because what was launched in Expo 2016 may not even be there in Expo 2018. Probably that's got phased out. With that happening, the ability of the tire company in India and players here to respond both in terms of models, in terms of the challenges in terms of rolling resistance, others which are challenges which are regulated by government, and some are required by for the vehicle to get homologated. Those things will emerge in the coming years. In fact, those challenges will be much more. And I think bulk of it happens when the OE tire relationship, they start working much earlier. I think we have seen that, and many of the OEMs today roll out the plan, share the plans with us far back, and they have benefited, and the tire companies too have benefited in this way, meeting requirements, meeting deadlines, because every OEM today has deadlines. In a competitive environment, there are deadlines, and the tire companies which are able to respond to those deadlines, both in terms of performance and in terms of the dates, I think will probably emerge better off than others.
The challenges which we are going to face with the government regulations coming in, Going forward, the regulations which are likely to be announced by the government for the rolling resistance, wet creep and noise, etc. We need to gear up for those requirements. We need to work with OEMs in order to ensure that we can have general commonality of specifications or sizes, so that we will be able to service the ultimate customer, which is the aim of both OEMs as well as the tire industry.
The discussion was followed by a keynote by the Managing Director of Tyers, Anant Goenka, who spoke on the need to develop a symbiotic partnership between the government and the tire industry that can provide solutions to the bottlenecks that the industry faces.
The importance of the tire industry on the nation's development cannot be overstated. The industry is central to the auto sector, transportation and plantation sector, three very important sectors of India's growth story. The tire industry is totally in sync with the Make in India campaign. We've been investing a large amount. Over 53,000 crore investment over the last few years has been unprecedented in India's recent history. The government, especially the Administrative Ministry of Commerce and Tire Industry, is in sync with the tire industry for all its issues and concerns, and the results are quite visible. On the RM front, rubber is a critical raw material for the tire industry. However, India produces just about 60% of the domestic requirement. Over 40% of natural rubber requirement is imported. These are just some critical areas where I feel the government and industry partnership could work wonders. We are sure, as always, Mr. Kant will help us and guide us going forward in forging new bonds with the government for greater good of the nation. Thank you very much.
The guest of honor was the CEO of Niti Aayog, Amitabh Kant, who delivered the valedictory address.
The tire industry will continue to grow and expand. It will continue to grow and expand in India because we have outstanding entrepreneurs. This is one segment of the industry, of the automobile and auto component industry. And the automobile and auto component industry will go through a lot of disruption, a huge amount of disruption. Therefore, my view is that the tire industry will play a very integral role to ensure mobility, including movement of passengers and essential goods across both the rural and the urban landscape of India. And this will cover all types of vehicles. All types of tires would be required to meet the domestic demand. And I'm delighted that all these are being manufactured by Indian industry in India. This is, in many ways, the tire industry is truly the pride of India. And not merely do you manufacture for India, you manufacture for the world, and many of you have gone abroad and penetrated global markets and set up manufacturing across the world and taken on global champions, and many global champions have come to India, and all of you have competed with each other to create a very vibrant, dynamic industry. There are 4 Indian companies which are in the list of top 30 global tire manufacturing companies. And large tire companies account for about almost 92% of industry turnover in value and tonnage terms. And this really shows that there is size and scale, and we do manufacturing to global size and scale. And while disruption in the automobile sector will continue to happen, you people are extremely fortunate that that disruption you will have to do innovation, but that will never hit you in a very, very big way. So very fortunate. So I wish you all the best, and I wish all of you that you continue to grow and expand in a big way. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
The first ATMA annual convention also saw the inaugural edition of the Fleet Management Awards, which were instituted to celebrate excellence in the sector. The guest of honor, Amitabh Kant, presented the awards to the winners.
It's a very good initiative taken by ATMA, where they've got all the tire players together, they've got all the automotive players together, and also the raw material suppliers together. And really, it's a discussion today where we are trying to figure out what's the future going to look at, and how we are going to face the future. What are the challenges that we're going to face? What support do we need with the Indian government, and how we all should work together to make the tire industry a brighter future.
You know, this is the first time as ATMA we have organized an annual convention, and we propose to do it going ahead every year. This is a good opportunity to get together with our suppliers and our customers, and of course with the suitable interventions with the government's presence so that we can convey to them and share on a common platform the issues and concerns of an industry, which has a huge potential to grow. And that's what the beginning was this morning.
This initiative of the tire industry has been well received. We have received very encouraging feedback from almost everyone that I have interacted through the day. And that encourages us, it gives us more confidence, it